Hey, it finally happened. Lovie Smith went ahead and named Kyle Allen the starter versus the Miami Dolphins. There had been speculation, open reporting by Mike Garofalo of the NFL Network and others on Wednesday that Kyle Allen was going to get the start, that Davis Mills would be benched. For whatever reason, Lovie Smith ducked, dodged, and weaved through 6 different questions on Wednesday as to whether or not he was making a change at quarterback. He cited competitive advantage. He said, hey, I don't want to let everybody know what our plans are. We gotta sneak in there and sucker punch the Dolphins. Okay, look, they're not going to win this game because they held the information back that Kyle Allen was going to be the starter. As a standard operating procedure, I get it. It just seemed like a whole lot of ballyhoo about nothing. We'll live with it, we'll move on. What is different about Kyle Allen compared to Davis Mills? Not a whole lot. If you look at them statistically, they have very similar completion percentages, touchdown to interception ratio, sack rate, all this kinds of things. The one thing you could say about Kyle Allen is that he's not Davis Mills, and he is a veteran, so this might be a juice or a spark. After last week's performance, where Davis Mills seems to have taken a dive south in terms of his development, you don't want to go into this onslaught of really quality opponents that the Texans have coming up, the Dolphins, the Titans, the Chiefs, and to look as moribund as you did out there this last weekend. I think also it's an opportunity to perhaps assess a little better what is Pep Hamilton actually bringing to the table. What can perhaps this offensive line do differently, or with the direction of a different quarterback, can the offensive line, particularly the interior offensive line, look better than they have? Because they have not looked good. They've not looked one bit good. So can we make Kenyon Green look like a better first-round pick? There is a chance. Sometimes the quarterback back there makes all the difference in the world. I think in terms of the quarterbacks themselves, Kyle Allen is slightly more athletic and mobile. I think when it comes to creating something while scrambling or moving in the pocket, he has an ability to handle pressure a little bit better than Davis Mills. I also think that there's a really good chance that hopefully Pep Hamilton incorporates more of an RPO game, because Kyle Allen has been a part of that in college, whereas Davis Mills ran what is supposed to be a good thing, more of a pro-style offense. People love to say, oh, wow, this quarterback, it's not like one of these college kids with these newfangled spreads. He's run a pro-style offense. In some ways, that might have hurt Davis Mills, because now NFL offenses are a lot more like college offenses. Kyle Allen has experience with the RPO. I think Kyle Allen, when going back and watching some of his games from the last few years, when you look at his mechanics in the backfield, I think he's a little snappier getting rid of the football. I think he's a little sharper in a lot of ways. He takes some undue risks and chances, but I think even his interceptions are a different type of interception than many of Davis Mills. I see interceptions where he perhaps makes a bad decision, but he's at least decisively making a bad decision. Look, if I'm going to make a bad decision, if I'm going to drink the wrong kind of liquor, I'm going to go hard with that liquor and have a good time of it. I feel like that's Kyle Allen. Whereas with Davis Mills, he's like the guy that decides not to drink, but in driving away from the bar as fast as he can, he gets into a car accident. That's Davis Mills, second-guessing himself, panicking, throwing a football, interception. So hopefully it'll be a little bit more of a raucous kind of failure with Kyle Allen. We can only dream. Let's look at some of Kyle Allen's last go-around. I purposely picked his worst game of 2019, in which he threw 4 interceptions to the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons at the time only had 2 wins on the season. They were 2-5 or so. And it was not a good Kyle Allen performance, but I think you see some good things in here, and I'll make some excuses for him with some of these interceptions. So here we go. First play of the highlights. Oh, that's a Jameis Winston level highlight, low light right there. Yeah. Do not throw the ball up in a prayer in the first quarter. To nobody, too. I don't even know who he was throwing that to. It might have been intentional grounding regardless. Takes a sack. This is something that he's done in his career, is taking sacks more, just at the same rate as Davis Mills, so that's not awesome. Watch this. See a little bit of backfield action, finds the open guy over the middle. That's not, high IQ stuff, but still, confident, good. There are more examples of him ripping balls over the middle. That was an easy one. I think on some of these quick slants, he's done a really good job. Nice ball placement there. Christian McCaffrey tends to make quarterbacks look better. There's an example of what we were talking about, decisively getting rid of the ball over the middle. And there's some of the pocket movement. He's got a little bit. Oh boy, what are you doing there, man? I was so excited about him for a second. So the first interception was dumb. Here you got some ball movement, and he's throwing on the run, and Trufant just kind of sneaks into his field division, or didn't sneak into his field division. There you go again. On a nice quick one to DJ Moore over the middle. He's got a little bit of a hop when he throws that I hadn't noticed before. And the Panthers' offensive line, much like some other offensive lines I know, didn't really help him out all that much that year. Christian McCaffrey dumped it off. It's okay, it's Christian McCaffrey, it's not Rex Burkhead. On the move again. And Davis Mills can throw on the move. I think Kyle Allen's just a little bit more adept at it. There's a good example of scrambling to buy time and not throwing an interception. Let's see.
Here's Allen's pass, and it's intercepted.
Again,
and he laterals to
is it the shadow? He just there's no intended receiver there or even close. And Trufant's just in his head in this game. Christian McCaffrey, they gotta miss him.
Takes a little air out of the balloon after that 18-yard run the first time around. And here is Allen, and he flips it to McCaffrey.
Again, Christian McCaffrey, Rex Burkhead, 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Receiver in the slot to the left. And here's Allen being
these tackles. Okay, so he can run. You see, like he can run away from pressure. He's not blazingly fast, but he can make a positive out of a negative. This left tackle is just getting his ass beat in this game.
Fourth down and 1, and they go to McCaffrey, and McCaffrey is going
to be McCaffrey. That's why McCaffrey had to leave. Too many years of that.
68 more on the ground, and this pass is going to be caught by Greg Olsen.
Greg Olsen was in his 13th year at this point. Now he's wearing ugly suits on Thanksgiving Day games.
And another pass caught and another first down. DJ Moore down and 4. Who said
he really throws his whole body into a throw. He's not an easy thrower. Okay. It's 29-3 at that point. Fourth quarter. Desperation heave. I don't consider that the same as the other ones. Damn it. I don't know if I even need to watch this fourth interception. Was that 3 that we've counted already? Boy. Oh. Okay. Oh, and this is the second Falcons game of the season after throwing 4 interceptions in that first one. And he'll throw backing up like that at times. I'm not a huge fan of that because I don't think he's got the arm to actually pull that off, and it's going to get him into trouble. And again, this is in 2019, so things may have changed since then. Okay. See, now that's a nice throw. Oh, you know what he did here? Okay. Check out Kyle Allen holding the safety with his eyes, and then boom, quick turning, pulling the trigger. And it's a nice throw. It just is deflected off the wide receiver. Took full accountability for it in the press conferences, unlike Zach Wilson. But you can see he's got the ability to make some nice plays. He's also got the ability to look like a guy that has never really earned a full-time starting job in the NFL. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay for what it is. Okay, we settled. We're like living in a small town in Iowa in 1952. The train doesn't even come through our town. There's 3 eligible bachelorettes in the entire town, and you don't have any prospects. So you take the best one available, and right now it was either Davis Mills, Jeff Driscoll, or Kyle Allen. And I think that was by design. I think that Nick Wright Nick Wright. I think that Nick Caserio, it's been a long day. I think that Nick Caserio wanted a team that was either going to find out that they had something nice in Davis Mills, and maybe they win a few games and they've got something to build on, or if Davis Mills was a disappointment, you'd get what we have here today, which is a one-win football team and pretty good draft position as of now, the number 1 overall pick, and a chance to move on in the future. I want to take you through the press conference on Wednesday, just because I got to say, it was uncomfortable watching and listening in real time. I went down and I condensed the 10-minute press conference into about 1.5 minutes of answers from Lovie Smith as he answers 6 questions about whether he was making a change at quarterback. This was on Wednesday, 2 days before he would eventually declare Kyle Allen the starter.
Not announce who's starting through the week. We have a starting lineup, the last one that we have, and when it changes, we'll let you know. But during the week, of course, we're not going to announce anything like that. I think that would give the opponent an advantage. So, like I said earlier, we practice through the week, and we're not going to go over our game plan, of course, on what we're going to do, but we try to improve every position. Coaching-wise, we try to improve from play to play, not necessarily just from game to game. It's like that at every position. Picking a quarterback. We had a quarterback last week. What do you mean picking? Guys, we want to go down this road. We're not going anywhere with this, all right? That's between us, of course. Not going to, of course, talk. I talk to the guys every day. So how did they respond? We go over the video. We go over every play every day. So, and conversation I'm going to have with guys, I don't normally go over those with you either. Don't plan on starting that either. I think you know that too. This is how we do it. I don't make decisions. I'm not going to publicly go out and talk about any of those things.
Okay, this one's good. You can't quite hear Sean Bajani, the questioner, at the very beginning, and I had to edit out a very loud cough from somebody in here too. But this was my favorite.
Film and you're preparing Miami this week.
Yes, keep going. Talking about Miami, yes, keep going.
In preparing for Miami, do you still feel like Davis Mills gives you the best opportunity to win?
And in all the different ways we're going to ask the questions. Is that what we're doing? The guys that we're going to play are the ones we think give us the best chance to beat Miami. That's how I'll answer that question.
I feel like Lovie handles that in the most unique way I've seen an NFL coach, because he gets aggravated, but he only rises to a certain level with his aggravation. Bill O'Brien probably would have angrily shut it down after maybe the second or third one. David Culley would sometimes just say no comment right off the bat, or sometimes he's just such a nice guy, he would feel genuinely guilty that he couldn't give an answer, and then he would end up giving an answer. So I feel like Lovie's got the nice balance there. There's a quote I saw this morning. Now here it is. From Sister Elizabeth Kenny, a self-trained nurse who made major contributions to the treatment of polio and provided care during World War I, discussing anger. He who angers you conquers you. He who angers you conquers you. That's a good one to keep in mind, because I think our best, usually when us guys are getting angry, a lot of times it does feel like it's part of a competitive situation. So don't let them get you. Stay strong, everybody. God bless you and Godspeed, Kyle Allen, you beautiful beast.